let's have the OOV ready, have the weights, and just have the band. So we'll kind of, and the ball. So we'll kind of use all our little props here. But we'll start with our traditional position, laying down on our backs. Always love to start with this for breathing part. And just kind of have your tailbone nice and heavy. Have the weights nearby. Allow the hands to just wrap around the outer ribs. And let's just start with taking a couple of deep breaths. Breathe in through the nose. Allow the ribs to expand outward. And then as you exhale, relax the shoulders as much as you can. Allow the ribs to compress. So inhale. And slowly exhale. Start connecting into the deep transverse abdominis, pulling hip bone to hip bone. One more breath in. And then as we exhale, we're starting to connect again to the deep core, maybe even a little pelvic floor lift here. You're just sort of starting to activate that internal system. On the next breath, let's find our weights and kind of reach both arms up towards the ceiling. Palms are facing each other. Nod the chin slightly. Feel the length in the back of the neck. Let's start by protracting our scapula, so reaching them away from each other. And then retracting shoulder blades as they hug around the upper part of the OOV. And again, exhale, we protract. Inhale, retract. And we'll do about 4 more of those, finding that glide movement of our shoulder blades on the rib cage. So your ribs are staying relatively stable, and you want to make sure that you're not kind of arching the back. So the back is melted into the OOV, and it's the shoulder blades that move. Now let's find that halfway in between point where the stability is. We're going to start opening arms out to the side. Breathe in. Exhale, bringing them back. 3 more times. Inhale, open. Exhale, coming back. Now think about what's happening with the shoulder blades here. As arms open, you should feel them slightly retract around that upper part of the OOV, like you feel that pressure. And then as they close, they slightly protract away. Last one here, as we open, and then we're coming back. Now let one arm open out to the side. Exhale, bring it back. And the other. Two more times, side to side, starting to turn on deep core, noticing how one side of the pelvis, one side of the foot puts more pressure into the floor when that arm goes out to the side. That's good. Focusing on lumbar-pelvic stability, you want to stay as stable on the OOV as you can, moving as slow as you need to for that to happen. Now let's move both hands overhead. Start reaching over, nodding the chin, pulling ribs down. And exhale, coming back. So we'll do 4 more here. The goal is to really keep shoulders away from ears, elbows straight, palms facing towards each other, ribs pulled down, and then we're nodding the chin. So when the arms are all the way over, you might feel a stretch in the back of the neck and the back of the shoulders. It's a lat stretch, and then coming back. Hopefully it feels good. Exhale in. One more time. Slowly coming back. Excellent. Let's keep our hands here and lower left elbow down. So left elbow will stay down. You can drop the weight or you can keep it, but that arm, maybe it'll rest on the ribs. We're going to start slowly floating our left leg up into the tabletop. So we have opposite arm, opposite leg. Now the other foot is firmly pressing down into the floor. Your elbow is pressing down into the floor. Let's start moving leg and arm away from each other. We're going to reach that leg long as the arm reaches overhead. And then exhale, bend the knee, arm comes back in. Good. Now if this feels pretty good, it looks like everyone is doing it really well, we can start challenging our torso stability by perhaps just floating that elbow off the floor. So the arm is still on the ribs, but I'm just lifting my elbow up a little bit. So I only have the foot in contact with the floor. We'll do a couple more here. Last one here. And coming back. Good. Let's keep that position. Elbow off the floor. Just the foot on the floor. And let that leg externally rotate. So we're just going to turn it out. And then let that hip internally rotate. Just doing a little hip rotation side to side. Arm is just reaching. Really, we're just working on letting our brain activate whatever systems need to turn on to find stability. Good. And then finding that leg is back to neutral. Now let your arm fall out to the side slowly. The elbow is still off the floor. And then arm coming back. We'll do a couple here. Good. Last one. Now let's switch sides. We're going to lower that leg down, lower the arm down, drop the weight, grab the other weight. Now the other arm reaches up to the ceiling. The other foot comes up into the tabletop. Opposite elbow is down on the floor and the palm is resting on the ribs. First, we're going to work on reaching arm and leg away from each other, that sagittal plane motion, and then coming back in. Good. The lower you reach the leg, the harder it is. So choose your challenge here. All right, everyone looks pretty good. Now let's float our elbow off the floor. One side is always harder than the other. First, we're just going to hold it there for a second. Now let's do a couple arm and leg move away from each other with that elbow up. So just the foot is in contact with the floor. Good. Now we're holding it and we're going to add our hip rotations. External rotation as heel goes in and then internal rotation as heel moves out. And you're just working on slowly finding control. What's nice with the OOV, you don't have to think about what muscles have to turn on. You're just trying to stay stable, keep your tailbone on it. And what needs to turn on will turn on automatically. And then it kind of transfers easier into the subconscious movement pattern behavior and activation. And then let's pause. Let's keep our foot, our hip in neutral. And let's let that arm slowly open out to the side. And then bring it back. Elbow is still off the floor. You may need to lower it at some point. That's totally okay. One more time here. We're moving real slow as we're focusing more on control, motor control here. And then slowly coming back. Excellent. Let's lower that leg down. We're going to lower both arms down, drop the weights. Elbows are still on the floor. Let's bring both legs into the tabletop. Now we're going to focus on imprint through abdominals. So a little bit of imprint kind of connects there. And sometimes I like to keep my fingertips, my fingers on the pelvis and then my thumbs on the ribs. So I feel that space between the pelvis and the ribs. And I want to keep it the same. It just gives me another tactile feedback. Let's bring heels together, give them a little squeeze, and knees will open out to the side. So we're kind of in the clamshell position. We're going to breathe in. As we exhale, let's reach our legs long. And inhale, bring them in. So heels together, we're squeezing the heels together, reaching long through the toes, and then bringing it back in. So as the legs reach away, abdominals turn on, and then they're coming back. Excellent. Let's go back to parallel, and let's straighten both legs up to the ceiling. Let's lower one leg down as the other one comes up. We're going to do a little scissor movement. Pulse, pulse. Inhale, legs meet each other. Exhale, we pulse, pulse. Inhale in. And pulse, pulse. Now, I'm reaching up through my toes, so I have my ankles plantar flexed, pointed. And I'm going to keep them pointed here as I pulse and switch. Inhale, switch. Exhale, pulse, pulse. Breathe in. Were any of you sore after last week in any of the abdominals or glutes or anything like that? A little bit?
No.
Okay, good. Okay, good.
It was good.
Last one. And let's bring it all the way in. Now we're going to go into the leg circles or airplane. So both legs will open. Now we're going to airplane them around. Kind of go through that full range of motion. And then bring them back in towards each other. Now we're going to switch. The other leg goes up. So left leg up, right leg down. Circle out and around. And then connect together. Now right leg up, left leg down. We're going to airplane through the circle and bring them in. Okay, we're going to go into sideline work. So we're going to put a band above the knees, just a light band. And then you're going to have a seat in the saddle of the OOV with your hip. Now have the little arm weight ready. I also like to use the ball for the head, or maybe it's a couple of rolled up towels or a pillow or a yoga block, because you kind of want to have your head feel a little bit supported. So we're laying down in the nice saddle with the hip. Upper body goes over the OOV, so I'm lining myself up with the seam of the OOV. The top leg is going to press away and just kind of find that length. Arm will go onto the ribs. We're going to breathe in. Allow the rib to expand outward. And as you exhale, notice how the rib moves down. Breathe in again. The rib opens up. And exhale as the rib closes down. Now we're going to drop everything and just kind of allow your body to go into that nice side bend. Breathe in. Exhale, lift the arm, allow your torso to slide up. So we're going into the side bend. Now I have my connection through the band. I'm working through the obliques on the side. Inhale as I lower back down. Exhale as I lift up. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. And lower. And lift. Last one, we're going to lower down and grab the weight. It's a little bit of a challenge. Now, we can also take a little deflated ball and put our bottom hand on that deflated ball. So what this creates is a leverage as well as assistance. So as I breathe in, I'm going to push down into the ball, lift my upper body up into that nice side bend. Think about your neck. Exhale as I lower back down and kind of reach forward into the ball for rotation of the torso. You can even allow your chest, your sternum to rotate up to the ceiling a little bit. Breathe in, press into the ball. Exhale, side bend. Inhale as we go back over. One more time, breathe in. Exhale, finish through. Inhale, go back into the side bend. We're going to add a leg lift. Next level. Breathe in to prepare. Exhale, lift the leg, lift the arm, lift the torso. So kind of reach towards the heel. Activate the whole lateral line. Bias towards extension as much as you can. Nice long neck. And then exhale, we'll lower back down. One more time, inhale up. Exhale, lower back down. And 2. And lower. And last one here. And lower back down. Now let's go into a supported, kind of a side plank. I like to keep my elbow on the mat. Arms will sort of cradle the head for support. The bottom knee is still down, the top leg is up. I'm going to flex my foot and lift it up. Now I have the band to add a little bit of resistance. We're going to lift and lower the leg. So I'm working my glute med, working that lateral side of the hip. And 3, and 2, and 1. Now let's point the toe, and we're going to take it into circles. We're going to take it back, up, and over. Now circle within that resistance. Kind of feel the band for feedback where your hip is in space. You want to feel work in the outside part of the glute. You don't want to let your pelvis hike, so you're going to keep it in that nice stable position. Let's reverse it. Reach up and back. And 2, going for 8. And 3, 4, this is challenging. 5, and 6. I'm definitely pressing down with my bottom knee to help with stability. And done all the way. Body side bends one more time. And then exhale, we're going to come back. We're going to do a little bit of our abdominal series here. And then we're going to go on to the other side. I'm going to make sure my mic is well connected. Okay, so let's have a seat in the saddle. We still have the band. Grab your weights if they're handy. If you want, this will add the challenge to the exercise. So we're going to press against the band. Again, just to feel connection. My band is relatively light, but it's enough to feel proprioceptive feedback, tactile feedback from my body. I'm going to reach my arms forward, palms up, breathe in. Exhale, let's take our abdominals through that C curve into the nice lumbar flexion. At the same time, we're going to bicep curl. Exhale, roll back up, arms reach. So we bicep curl, roll back. And then we'll lengthen back up. Just a couple of times, find the pelvic tilt. Think about your head staying in line with your torso, right? So I'm just moving through my lumbar spine. Last one here. And come back up. Now palms face each other. I'm going to take it into that half roll back. Now I'm going to start opening arms out to the side. Exhale in for 4. And in. Exhale. Good. Keep holding it, isometric hold. We're going to breathe in, take it into Ys, diagonals. Exhale in for 1. Go in for 4. Breathe in and exhale. Every time you exhale, you deepen your imprint. You're trying to let your lower back stay melted into the curvature of the OOV. And exhale. Inhale, stay. And we come back up. Well done. Now we're going to walk our heels together and press out to the side. So all of a sudden, my stability is significantly decreased. Choose your challenge. If you feel like your feet needs to be a little bit out, let them be so. We're going to hold on to the weights again. Arms will reach forward. I'm going to exhale, half roll back. Now we're going to work on obliques. I'm going to drop my right weight, take my hand behind my head. I'm going to twist my torso to the outside of the knee. So just the torso, not my lower body. I'm going to roll back, breathe in, exhale, up and reach a little bit further. So my goal is to connect that opposite rib to the opposite hip. If you want more challenge, you go lower on the OOV. Exhale up. And exhale for 3. And 2. Most importantly, hips are staying stable. And 1. Come back all the way up. And let's sit up. Let's switch sides. Right arm reaches for the weight. Left arm goes behind my head for support. I'm going to roll back. Now I'm going to rotate and think of reaching to the outside of this knee. I'm finding my diagonal oblique line. Exhale. Inhale down. It's a lot easier for me to go to this side, right? So you might notice the same, that one side is more connected than the other. And this is where OOV is so great, because you could feel that difference, and then you can work on strengthening it, connecting those neuromuscular connections from the brain to the muscles, turning on the deep stabilizing system. Last one. Exhale. And let's come back all the way up. Let's straighten both legs. Ankles are flexed up. I'm going to hold that resistance to stay nicely square with the pelvis. We're going to take it into roll downs. Exhale, rolling all the way down. Breathing, let your arms reach overhead. This feels great after all that abdominal work. And then exhale, lift the arms first. Then the chin tuck. Start pulling your ribs down. Once we're back up, you want to hinge towards your toes. Back to neutral. Exhale, we're rolling down. Inhale at the top. Exhale, lift the arms, not the chin. Round forward and hinge. Next 2, arms will go out to the side. Same thing, big circle up and around. Breathe in. Last one here. Inhale, not the chin. Exhale, I'm pulling my ribs, vertebrae by vertebrae, peeling myself off to neutral, and then I reach forward. All right, we're gonna do our side on the other side. So take OOV. Again, we're gonna have a seat in the saddle. Have the ball. Initially, just get yourself in that good position. Top leg is straight, so my body is lined up with the seam of the OOV. My head is down, maybe resting on the ball to start with. I have my weights. I'm going to start reaching across, finding that side. Maybe arm goes on the outside of the ribs. I'm going to breathe in. find my rib cage expansion. Our ribs should really have good amount of that expansion when we take a breath in, because the diaphragm descends and pushes ribs out to create space for the lungs to get filled with air. We want to focus on that lower low breathing, as we usually are so upper apical breath pattern folks. So now let's take the weight. We're going to breathe in. Bottom arm is down. Exhale, lift the arm, lift the torso. And you can kick the ball out of the way, and then inhale, come back down. Exhale, lift up. Inhale, lower back down. And up. And lower. You want to focus on bringing your rib towards the pelvis. And lower back down. Now I'm going to put that ball underneath my bottom hand for increased challenge. Doing the same thing. I'm lifting up, reach, and I'm going to lift the leg and lower. Inhale, lift. So I'm pressing down and forward with the ball because my torso is going to want to do this. So I'm going to line myself up. That's really where that prop comes in handy. And then lower back down. Exhale, lift up. Inhale, lower. So I'm activating my whole lateral line. And lift. And lower. Good. Last one, lift. Press down and forward. And lower back down. Now we're going to find our supported plank with the hands. Supporting my head, lining myself up. I'm going to lift and lower that hip. Working through abductors. I like to reach up and back with that heel so that you can really feel the glute activate. And 4, 3, and 2. Last one. We reach out. Now we're going to point the foot and start taking it into circles. So you're still focusing on keeping the hips stable. If it helps to keep your hand there, do so. You can also kind of feel where your body's in space being on the OOV, way better than on the floor. Let's take it the other way. OOV also makes this harder because my upper torso is a little higher, so the hip has to work a lot more. And 3, ooh, I feel the burn. And 2, and last one, lower back down. One nice side bend. And then exhale, we're gonna come back up. We're gonna take our body through some sideline rotation work. So now OOV is gonna go this way. Waistline is still going inside. I'm gonna lie down. Now a couple things. Head can be, again, you can have a little pillow underneath your head for comfort. The bottom knee is bent and the top knee is going to be bent. I'm just going to kind of reach it back. The bend is there so that, again, I can feel more feedback where my lower body is and if I'm moving through my lower body. Now we're going to take the bottom hand and put it on the deflated ball. So this could be, I love Gorgeous Ball from Tune Up Fitness. They work really well for this. This is the balanced body ball. Works great as well. We're going to breathe in, reach the top arm forward. As we exhale, we're going to push down and forward with our torso and then allow the arm to rotate back. Now, depending on where the arm goes is what ribs will move more. So if my arm is going straight out to the side in this position, so I'm kind of focusing on this part of the ribs to open, I'm going to breathe in there, and then exhale, I'm going to restack. Now the next one, I'm going to aim my arm a little bit higher. So I press down, focus on rotating my torso more, and reaching the head on a diagonal. And then exhale as we're coming back. Now breathe in, I'm going to move even higher, Let your head, neck, and shoulders, your gaze follows along with your hands, so we're just spiraling up and coming back. And now I'm gonna reach my hand down towards the hips. Breathe in. To gain more range of motion, I'm gonna push down and forward with that bottom hand onto the ball. And then exhale as I'm coming back. Excellent. You can stay here and work on this for as long as you feel you need to. You can stay in those restricted ranges and just breathe, and that will really allow you to loosen up. Let's go to the other side. Now again, we're going to put our OOV this way. I'm going to use just a pillow because I want to show what that looks like if you have some props for your head. So we're going to do the same thing. I like to use the ball. I'm going to use the band as I'm lining myself up. Now I can, if I have my head a little bit elevated, right, this really decompresses my shoulder. So if that was uncomfortable, having something that will line you up would work really well, you know, so that you kind of want to have your head nice and straight. For me, I think I can use it even without this pillow. The bottom hand goes on the ball, and then the top knee is going to bend. So I'm going to find my line from the knee through the hip all the way through the middle ear. I'm going to breathe in here as I'm lifting my hand up. Now I'm going to push down and forward. Exhale. Rotate back. It definitely feels better having my head supported because now I have this room to push down and forward and allow for that rotation to happen. And then I'm slowly coming back. And again, we're going to play with position of the arm. Now the arm is going to go a little higher. Breathe in. And exhale, coming back. Inhale, press down and forward as I'm reaching even higher. Stay there. Take a breath into the outward ribs. Think of expansion. And exhale as we're coming back. Now my arm is going to go down. Breathe in. I'm going to reach down towards the hip. I'm pressing down and forward into the ball. And exhale, coming all the way back. Excellent. All right, we're gonna work a little bit on our stomach, and then we'll do some standing work today too. So, lots of ways to use OOV on the stomach. We're gonna do it with the rounded part up. So it's gonna go this way. I'm gonna use a long band today and a short one. The short one's gonna go around my knees because I want to feel something to kind of force close my side joints, so to speak. So I'm gonna go on my stomach. The upper part of my sternum is going to be on the apex of the OOV, so that when I'm over it, and then I'm gonna have my little band here, the long one. To start with, when I'm on the OOV here, it allows me to flex in my upper back. I'm going to push out on the band, externally rotate my hips. So heels together, toes apart, pubic bone pressing down. And I'm going to breathe and push my chest into the OOV. Now I'm going to feel how my upper back expands and lifts and actually mobilizes, opens, stretches, because the ribs, they open up, they move back. This is really, really good training for our diaphragm as well as mobility for our mid-back. Now with the next breath, I'm going to start pressing my glutes, using my glutes to push my pubic bone down, and I'm going to start lifting my torso up into extension. My hands just sliding with me. And then exhale as I dive forward. Inhale, lift up. I'm trying to focus on upper body extension, and OOV really kind of allows me to not compress in my lumbar spine. I tend to move a lot through my lumbar spine, so moving through the upper back is so crucial. Again, press out and inhale as you lift up. Exhale, we'll lower back down. Now we're going to do some work. We're going to lift up halfway. I'm going to curl my toes and straighten my legs. So I'm in this supported plank. Now I like to turn my palms up because I really like a little bit of external rotation through the shoulders. I'm in nice long neck. My focus is stability. Breathe in, lift one arm up, nothing else moves, and lower, and then the other. Keep going. We're going to do 4 times on each side. Inhale up, exhale down. And lower. And down. And lower. Now I'm going to bend my right knee. As I straighten my right knee, my left arm lifts. My right knee bends and my left arm lowers. Exhale, 2. And 3. And 4. Straighten the right knee. I'm going to bend my left knee, and then I'm going to straighten that knee and move through the opposite hand. My goal is to find the diagonal posterior sling line connecting right shoulder to left hip in this case. And last one. And I'm going to lower everything down. Taking a deep breath in. Enjoying that upper thoracic flexion. It is a lot of pressure into the chest initially, but you get used to it. Now I'm going to use my band, if you have one, just long band. It doesn't need to be hard. Again, I'm going to breathe in to prepare, not the chin. Exhale. Legs are straight. I'm going to float up. Now, my arms are holding on to the band. I'm going to start working by taking my right arm, lifting the band up and taking it out to the side and bringing it back in. Nothing else moves. I'm kind of drawing a little arc with that arm. Now let's add the neck. We're going to look to the right, pull back, and back to center for 1. Integrating that shoulder, back extensor work, scapula work. Last one here. Great multifidi work as I'm stabilizing my spine, switching sides. Right arm is staying down, left arm is going to lift up. So first couple without the neck. And you can see how I'm shifting to that right side. So I'm going to reconnect, find my stability, and now I'm working big time. So I'm pressing against the band around my knees. Make sure that shoulder doesn't creep up to my ear. Now I'm going to look to the left and come back to the center. And 3. Last one. And relax all the way down. We're going to press up into a well-deserved shell stretch. Let your head rest on the OOV where the forehead is. Take a couple of breaths in. Relieve the pressure in the lower back. We're going to slowly come back up. Let's get rid of the band. And let's do a little bit of planking work. So, I love planks on OOV. We're going to turn it around. So, I'm going to start with the modified version, and then we're going to move up to more advanced. So, pick what feels great for you, and know that you can progress from there. I'm going to put my forearms on the big part of the OOV here, on this apex. Then I'm going to hold on to the saddle in this choking grip. Now I'm going to pull up. So I'm going to press my elbows down as I pull up onto the OOV. Now this is going to stabilize and connect my scapulas nice and flat around the ribs. I'm going to activate my serratus, my lats here for sure. So this is my part with the arms. From here, the modified version is the kneeling position. I'm going to bring my knees out until I feel my core working. And I can just hold this here, pulling through the abdominals, finding nice long neck, making sure I'm not shifting side to side. Now I can progress from here by curling my toes under and starting to straighten one leg. And then bring it down. Exhale, I'm lengthening through the other leg. And lower. Inhale out. Exhale in. Inhale out. One more side to side. That was not hard enough. We're going to take it into the full plank. And I'm holding it. Now, OOV creates such an amazing challenge here because my upper body is unstable. I'm really working on this side to side coronal plane, holding my abs in. We're going to go for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Well done. That was hard. Let's do some standing work. So, lots of ways to use OOV for standing. It's so great for our foot stabilization, proprioception, balance work. Really helps activate intrinsics in the foot. So, we're going to start first with a little mobility work, and then we'll progress into balance. I'm going to take my left foot, and I'm going to put my heel at the base of it, and then my arch is going to line up with the saddle. My second toe is lined up with the crease, and I'm just going to put some pressure into it, and then maybe I'm just gently rolling my foot in and out. There's no right or wrong way to do it. I want to push my toes into the OOV, and then relax, spread them apart, move my foot side to side a little bit, just mobilizing it. I'm going to take the same foot and I'm going to put it across my transverse arch. I'm going to step into OOV. I'm going to curl my toes down. Then I'm going to lift my toes up and spread them apart. Curl them down. Lift, spread them apart. Roll my foot back and forth. And then we'll do the same thing, turning around. Now my heel is on the shorter part of the OOV. I'm going to press here. Here I'm going to work on my toes. I'm going to try to push into the big toe, extend it, work on that range of motion into extension. So important with the push-off part of the gait, running. I want to step up. I'm just going to repeat this on the other side. Start with the heel, second toe lined up in the saddle. Press into the OOV. Rock my foot side to side. Supination, pronation. Push my toes down into the OOV and then lift up. Press them down and then lift up. Spread them apart a couple of times. I'm going to take that foot, put it through the center, through my transverse arch. I'm going to put some pressure into the arch. Again, I'm going to do the same thing. Roll my foot, pronate and supinate. And then I'm going to curl my toes under and then lift them up and spread them apart. Curl them down, lift up, spread them apart. And the last thing I'm going to do is put my heel, second toe lined up. I'm in the center of that saddle. I'm going to press into it. Here I'm going to work on my toes. Find your balance. Very important. So as I'm pushing into that big toe, I'm trying to work on the range of motion as if I'm taking a step. Maybe this is already plenty for you. So just kind of stay there and just go back and forth. Trying to press down into that big toe and really work on that extension, range of motion. Excellent. Now we're going to do a little balance exercise. So for balance, There's many ways to do it. Today we're going to work on this front to back balance. It's the sagittal plane. This is our walking, our running. Really, really important. I'm going to start with my left leg in the center. Now the other edge of the OOV is going to the outside of me. That part is important. And I'm going to step on it, and then I'm just going to find my balance here. The knee is not locked. It's going to be soft. Once you find your balance, the other leg can just rest to the side. Then I want you to go front to back with that foot. Can you notice what's happening with your body as you go forward and back? You want to be able to weight shift. Your upper torso goes back. As heel goes back, upper torso comes forward. You want to allow your body to find that stability, to do what it needs to be challenged with those weight shifts and disturbances in the equilibrium and balance. Now let's find our center, and we're going to pretend like we're walking while maintaining stability. Let's see. There we go. You got to find the opposition through the arms. You can pretend like you're running and go a little bit faster, go a little bit into the hip hinge. Really works on stability through that hip. If you lose your balance, don't worry about it. Reposition, and here we go. Woo! Definitely challenging. Let's do a couple more. I definitely feel work through my hip. And then let's step down. Now, if that was hard, just do it on one leg. We're going to take a little break before we go to the right side, but you can also step on it with both legs. Kind of find your center. And then just do a similar thing, but just start with both legs, with those weight shifting forward and back. Sometimes this is a great way to start if one leg was way too much. And then, same thing, finding the center, and then just sort of starting to add some arm swinging as if we're walking or running with both legs. This feels pretty good. We can add torso rotation. And then head turns. Now we're working on our not just musculoskeletal balance system, but also our equilibrium, our inner ear, because we're turning our head. Our eye gaze changes. Great way to challenge. And then come back to the center. And then we're going to work on the other side. So we're going to turn OOV around. We're going to put our other foot in the center, kind of find stability. It's challenging for me. On this side, I had my ACL reconstruction. ACL is a ligament, so ligaments are what responsible for balance. They have a lot of proprioceptive fibers in them, receptors. But when you change that ligament into a tendon, it definitely takes away from that proprioceptive stability. So if you have any kind of a ligamentous injury in the knee, you'll feel this. Much more challenging, and it's so good to work on. I didn't used to be able to do this before myself. So once we find our balance here, we're going to start adding a little ankle dorsiflexion, plantarflexion, back and forth. Also want to focus on feeling the entire foot in contact with the OOV so that it's not rolled on one side, on the outside. And then from here, we can add our walking. Kind of opposite arm and leg. And then we can add a little bit of a running where we go into that hip hinge. Whew. This is where I'm really starting to get off balance. So if you're like me, reset, and here we go. And 2, and 1. And let's step on down. Well done today. Thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed the class. Let me know what other workouts on the OOV you're interested in, and I'll make sure that we tape them.